AI is changing so fast that tools become outdated in months. So how do you invest in that? That's a question I get all the time from my LPs, fellow investors, and even startups. Every week, there's a new model, there's a new state of the art. Everyone can build so quickly with vibe coding, so everyone is copying each other, and every time something catches up, there's 20 more the next week. It reminds me a little bit of what happened in 1999, 2000 with the dot-com boom and the dot-com bubble, where everybody was building a website, and again, 90+% died. What's interesting is the one that remained, the eBays, the Googles, the Amazons of the world, became giants. And so how do you spot those for the AI era? In this video, we'll cover the biggest mistakes I see in early stage AI investing, why technical moats are not enough anymore, the 3 factors I actually look for when investing, and the red flags I tend to avoid, and finally, how I'm able to spot the future winners of the AI race that are still going to be around in 5 years. But before we start, please consider subscribing. This is a brand new channel I'm publishing here every week, behind the scenes of the VC world and Y Combinator. So please give me a subscription. Thank you very much. So there's been a lot of debate around what makes a startup being irrelevant in the future. For the longest time, it was just GPT wrappers, and that was considered a bad thing. And as YC has been pointing out, GPT wrappers can potentially be a good thing if you're building around it. If you're building evals and a proprietary data set, customer acquisition and UX UI, then the startup you're building can be the car and the model can be the engine. Even if the model gets updated, there's a new model coming, you can swap the engine for a faster one, but what you've built around it, the car, stays the same. If you don't have that, or if you're building something specific for a model of today, and again, we know that models from today are not going to be here for long. There's a new model every month or every week. And so if you're solving a problem that's only relevant to today's models, but that the big companies, the OpenAIs and Anthropic's of the world, are going to fix in the near future, then you have a big problem because again, the problem you're solving is going to disappear very soon. I sadly see a lot of startups going into that direction. And so for the longest time, I've been talking about moats in investing. What's your moat? What's your defensibility against other customers? And the most obvious way to defend against customers is the patent, but in software, you can't patent much, so you have to find something else. Today, with AI, with vibe coding, it is super easy to replicate the tool that you've built. With vibe coding, you can replicate almost any tool, any website, any product in a matter of days, if not hours. And so if your product starts to be successful, a flock of other entrepreneurs are going to just vibe code a replica and come compete with you. Technical moat almost does not exist anymore, which begs the question, what's the new moat in the AI era? This shines a light on something that I've believed for a long time. The tech is not the product is a lot of the things that come around it. And that's even more true today when anyone can replicate your tech so easily. So what do you build to make a company successful? Well, you build a customer acquisition engine. That's where social media could come in. That's where SEO could come in. That's where virality or an affiliate program could come in. But if you're able to build a machine that attracts customers while you're sleeping, then against another company that can replicate your tech, you're going to be the one selling to customers and you're going to be the one winning. Another example is community and behavior lock-in. Anyone can code X or Instagram in a matter of hours, even without AI. But what's the point of an X replica without the community, without the users? What matters is actually the network effect of the users and of the community. You go on your Instagram because your friends are there as well. If it's a replica with no one, it has no interest at all. One last example I want to share is proprietary data. If you're able to access data that's going to feed your model and you're the only one to have access to the data, then your model is going to be infinitely better than the competition, and competitors can build another model, but if it doesn't have the data to train on, it's not going to be as good. AI will commoditize code into the future. It's already happening. And so value in the future will come from behaviors, brands, and users. So this is what you got to focus on. This is what you got to chase. Here are 3 things that I really look for when I'm investing. The first one is UX and UI, and of course, customer behaviors that goes with it. So let's talk about Cursor. You've all heard of Cursor, one of the fastest company in the world to reach $100 million in ARR. It didn't win because it has better models. It won because it has one of the best and easiest to use user interface. Cursor followed my example where they built a car and you can swap the model under it, so you can just swap the engine. The car remains, and Cursor is an amazing success. Second thing is customer acquisition. I've touched on it already. I look for SEO, I look for social presence, I look for a system, whatever that is. Having been a founder myself, started 7 companies, I realized very quickly you can have the best product. If no one knows about it and buys it, it doesn't make any sense. And many people have been criticizing YC companies for selling to each other within the batch, which does happen. And that's what I want to avoid. You sell to your peers and then the batch ends and you have no sales. So I'm pushing founders to tell me what system they've built. And third is resistance to platform risk and AI evolution risk. So I asked the founders what happens if, the latest model GPT 5, 6, 7 is 10x better than it is today. Will it cannibalize you? Will you just cease to exist? Or will it empower you to serve your users much, much, much better? And that's a lot of investments that I like. Stuff that was not even possible 6 months ago. But thanks to the latest advances in AI and the latest models, it is now possible. And so if the model becomes better, that's not a problem. The service of this startup is just going to become increasingly better as well. So you can remember this, the tech gets copied, but the traction never lies. As you've understood, I'm mostly investing in the customer layer more than in the model layer, because models, it's another game completely. I'm a seed investor. For models, it's OpenAI and Anthropic, they raise billions, if not dozens of billions of dollars. It is very, very difficult to compete unless on a very specific sector. I've invested in a foundational model startup for a very specific use case and they're absolutely killing it. But for the rest, I'm looking at the customer layer and I'm looking at adaptability. AI in general is sort of a moving target. Every 3 months, every 6 months, it's a completely different game. It's a completely different landscape. So I'm looking for companies and founding teams that can adapt and that can go with the time, and a type of startup that's not too much at risk of dying because of new AI model evolution. And of course, if you run into a problem, you can always pivot. Remember, pivoting is central to the YC philosophy. Many startups end up pivoting during YC, but many startups also pivot after YC. They really push you to actually pivot into something that you're more excited about, something you've uncovered along the way, and go chase something much bigger. Like Brian Chesky said, the best founders are not locked into a specific model, they're locked in onto a problem. And so if you're unlucky and actually OpenAI comes for your lunch, there's still time to pivot if you're a good enough resourceful team. So obviously that's also something that I'm looking for, like most investors. If you're a founder building in AI right now, here's what I do if I were you. First of all, talk to your users and become an expert on their problem. Focus on retention, not on technology. Focus on usage by your customers. The second thing I would say is build in public. Gain trust by creating a community around you and sharing your journey, explaining what struggles you might have and what's going well. Try to think of something that's only been recently made possible with AI. If you're doing a startup that anyone could have built in the last 10 or 15 years, either you have a lot of competitors or maybe there's a reason it didn't work. AI is unlocking a new field of possibilities, so think that way, and remember, make something people want. That's the YC motto. If you do this right, your product might evolve or change, it might even break. But if you're customer-centric and obsessed with their problem, your customers will stay because they know you understand them and you build for them. My investors always ask me, isn't AI a target that's moving too fast for us to actually be investing in AI today? And I answer them that I invest in AI just like I've invested before in other types of startups. I don't invest in tech only. I invest in user retention, in user traction, and actually in just user love from the founders who just love the users and love the problem they're trying to solve. And so in AI, it's just like with everything else. The people that will win are not only the ones that are able to write nice code, but the ones that are able to move fast, to get distribution, to get retention, and to get very strong early traction. So founders, build for flexibility, investors look for durability. I want to hear about you. Did you ever invest in an AI startup that vanished after 6 months? Tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.